Did you know, as Flores, if you go up to any soft wall under a soft floor, you can actually get your drone onto the roof. All you have to do is go up to the soft wall, make a punch hole in the middle, and then go onto your drone, jump your drone up the punch hole like that, and then jump your drone again to the roof and activate it. Now, once the Flores drone blows up, anybody that was standing under the drone would end up dying. And you can use this to destroy utility like shields as well. And that was just the first trick out of 36 attackers, and the next trick we have is actually going to be for Amaru. Now, Amaru is seen as a very high risk, high reward operator, but this next tip I'll be going over is going to allow you to lower the risk significantly. So what you want to do is you want to throw a stun grenade onto the windowsill of the window that you're going to be grappling into and time the explosion of the stun grenade to you grappling in. So all you have to do is back up from the window far enough to where when you get stunned, you aren't still stunned when you enter the window. The sweet spot I found is about 15 meters, like right as you hit 15 meters. The next step is to shoot the glass off the window or just break the glass when you actually throw your stun grenade. The reason for this is to mask the sound of the grapple hook. The defenders have to hear the stun grenade go off, and when the glass breaks, it allows the defenders to hear what's on the other side. And for this tip, I like to have visual trajectory on so they can actually see where your stun grenade is going to go, because you want it to land in the windowsill. So right there is where I would throw it. And so now I'm going to show you how to actually time the stun grenade explosion with the grapple hook. So once you've got your stun grenade lined up, all you got to do is throw it out the window and immediately pull out your grapple hook, and then as soon as the stun grenade explodes, grapple in. Now, I didn't do it perfect, but it's going to work pretty well the way I just did it. Now, once you're in the building, the defenders most likely haven't heard you grapple in until right before you got in the building, meaning you're most likely going to pick up at least one free kill. And if you want to hear the difference between no stun grenade versus stun grenade, then here you go. Now, the next trick I'm going to be showing you is for Sledge. And the trick I'm going to be showing you for Sledge is how to drop nades onto anyone on the floor below. What you want to do is go above the person you want to drop a nade on and shoot one side of the floor out like this. Then what you want to do is throw your nade into the hole and immediately sledge and back up from the hole. What you want to do is throw your nade into the hole that you made and then immediately sledge right after, just like this. And make sure you back up from the area so you take only like 5 damage when the nade explodes. And as you can see, it drops the nade through the floor and is most likely going to kill the unsuspecting defender below without them ever seeing it coming. If you want this to work best, make sure to drone whoever you're trying to drop a nade on, and make sure you have enough space to back up from the nade when you throw it so you don't die to your own nade like I did. As you can see, you're going to get some free kills. Now, the next tip I'm going to be showing you is for Thatcher. Now, as Thatcher, your job is to help get rid of wall denial on whatever wall you're trying to open up. Now, if you notice, if I was trying to attack Games Room's wall, I would have to expose myself, or at least, just be in the general area of the wall, which you don't really want to be that, but you kind of have to do it a lot of the times. But what a lot of people don't realize is if you just rappel over top of the area that you're trying to get the wall denial off, and you actually throw your EMP right above the wall on the roof, just like that. Once it goes off, if I head down here, as you can see, the bandits are now gone. So you can get the wall open as normal, and you never even had to enter the building or even be near the entrance to the building. And this works in a lot of different spots, so get creative with it. Like as you can see right here on the same map, if I wanted to open up the attic wall, as you can see, throw my Thatcher grenade right there and it EMPs the bandit charges. But moving on to the next operator, we have Ash. Now, Ash is a very simple operator and there's not a lot of unique tricks you can do with her ability, but the trick I decided to go with on her is a lot of people don't realize if you just shoot your Ash charge in this corner like this and run through, you won't actually take any damage. I don't really know if this is a glitch or not because it's been in the game for a long time, but you can also do this on castle barricades as well, which just makes more sense as well. Even if it is a glitch, I don't think it's leaving anytime soon, and I think it's here to stay, so that's a trick for Ash. As Thermite, you might encounter a muted wall, and when I place my charge onto this wall, as you can see, it's going to be muted. And most of the time, someone will have to get rid of the mute jammer on the other side. But there's actually a trick you can do to get the wall open without someone destroying the mute jammer. Now, there are 2 ways to do this trick, and the first way is to rappel up onto the wall and place your charge on the wall like this on the top. And as you can see, it's not going to be muted, and I can just blow up the wall as normal. So as you can see, it's pretty much like I blew up the wall as normal and I basically bypassed the mute jammer. But there are some maps where you can't rappel onto the wall, so I'm gonna show you the other way to do it. So if you can't rappel onto the wall, another way to do the trick is to come to either side of the wall and just go into the corner and look up as far as possible and place down your charge. So as you can see, it's not going to be muted, and when I activate it, you'll see, as you can see, once it blows up, it doesn't open up the whole wall as normal. It only opens up one side, and sometimes you don't want that. So it's best to just do this when you can repel. Otherwise, just try to destroy the mute jammer. But this also works if you can't destroy the mute jammer. So for the trick I'm going to be showing you for Twitch is going to be a very unknown spot on Canal that you can basically get rid of wall denial from and have a really good drone just in sight that pretty much nobody will know about. So what you want to do is come over to this spot on Canal and basically throw your drone right about here so that it bounces down onto this lower part right here. Once you have your drone in this spot, obviously this drone is still pretty good, but what you want to do is just break the glass by jumping into the glass, and then you just want to jump your drone up onto this ledge like this, and then what you want to do is jump your drone up into this little top part like that. It might take a few tries to get it at first, but once you get it down, it's really easy. And this drone doesn't look that good because you can barely see anything really, but once you move to the edge right here, right on the edge, as you can see, the bandits on the wall, I can easily get off without anybody really even seeing my drone. And the same thing would be if there was mute jammers there. It's kind of hard to get cades off just because, you know, they're usually at the top of the wall. But if you know they have bandit or mute on the wall, then there you go, you can get that. But that's not the only use for this drone. So to get just a generally good drone spot, what you want to do is you can't slip through this little hole right here. So what you have to do is drop down onto this lower part right here and then jump your drone back up to the other side so you're past this little barrier. And now, as you can see, I have a really good drone because I can see printer, skybridge, I can see insight into the other site, top red. So it's just a really good spot in general, and you don't need to be Twitch to do this. But you know, as Twitch, you have 4 drones, so you can put 1 drone here and use your other drones however you'd like. Now, as you can see from the shield, the next operator we have is Monty. Now, Monty also has a simple ability, but the trick I'll be showing you for Monty is when planting, you should be turning your back and then planting. The reason for this is when you're planting the bomb, when you put the bomb down, your shield actually goes behind your back. So let's say if I was planting right in this doorway, instead of planting looking this way, I turn around and then plant. It's going to cover my back. And so as you can see right here, this is basically what it looks like when I'm planting the bomb with my back turned. It's going to be pretty hard to shoot you when you're looking directly at Monty. So as Monty, make sure you're always turning your back and then planting instead of looking, you know, forwards and most likely just getting killed when you do that. So as Glaz, a lot of people just use his ability to see through smoke grenades. Obviously, this is a good way to use Glaz because, you know, that's like the main way people do use Glaz, and it's one of the best ways you can use Glaz, probably the best. But what a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of other pairings to Glaz. And one of the best ones you can do is with Sens. Now, as you can see, Glaz can see through the Sens barrier, meaning anybody that was playing half wall, playing on the lockers or whatever is gonna die. And also you can kind of move around more than you can with smokes. So these are 2 really good pairings, and a lot of people forget that you can do this and you don't see it that often. So most defenders are also gonna forget about it a lot of the times, especially if they didn't know you had a Glaz. So you can probably pick up a kill or 2 for free without them even realizing. So as Fuze, the main objective that you have for your ability is to place your fuse charges above the site and destroy utility in sight. But the main drawback is while you're placing down your fuse charges, a lot of the time you'll end up getting flanked. Now, to place down your fuse charges much safer and destroy utility in sight much safer, what you can do is go a floor above and then place down your fuse charges. So in this example, the way I do it is you want to place one of your fuse charges right about here, line it up with this line just a little bit in front of the line, and then just go down the line like this. And so I'm going to place down 3 of them and then show you where to place the last one. And so the last one you can really place anywhere. I would recommend just placing it probably like here is where I like to place it, like right next to this one. And by the end of it, as you can see, the whole floor is opened up, and this whole time it's going to be dropping fuse charges into the site, destroying utility, hitting defenders, and just generally just causing chaos. And you can just use these vertical holes as if we're playing Sledge or something. So if there's ever a situation where there's a soft floor above the floor that you're trying to drop fuses into, then make sure you go above with at least like 2 charges. So the next operator we have is Blitz. Now Blitz is in a similar boat to Monty, as his ability doesn't really have many tricks you can do other than turning your back when planting, but I didn't want to show the same trick for both shield operators, even though you should be turning your back when planting on Blitz. But the trick I decided to go for Blitz is to use your smoke grenades aggressively. And what I mean by that is if you're ever in a situation where you gotta run at someone and they're kind of far away, use your smoke grenades to mask your sound and to mask you yourself. So as an example, if I was going to be pushing 2 Brava over there, obviously I have to cover all this distance, and as Blitz you're not as covered as Monty, so it's a lot of time where he can throw a C4 at you, shoot you in the feet or in the arms or whatever. So what you can do is actually use the smoke to close the gap. So what I could do is throw one at the bottom of the staircase, and as soon as it pops, just start sprinting, and now I'm much closer, and they probably weren't going to be running that whole time because all they see is the smoke. So always remember, if you're ever in a situation where you need to cover distance but you don't want to enter an area and get shot or impacted or C4'd or whatever, then make sure you use your smokes. Alright, so the next operator we have is IQ. So the trick I'm going to be showing you for IQ is one of the best ways to win post plants, and it's going to be playing below with your IQ scanner. So once you have the bomb planted, let's say I planted the bomb on default right here. What you can do is place a breach charge right on the bomb and then run downstairs below the diffuser. Once you've made it downstairs, you want to blow up your breach charge, and now what you can see is I have a perfect angle onto the diffuser, so anyone that tries to defuse, I can kill them. And whenever they go to defuse the bomb, you can see it on your IQ scanner, so you can just see it real quick, put it away, pull out your normal gun, peek, they're probably going to get off, and you can just play this game all day. Just make sure you're sitting on your scanner whenever you see it, maybe shoot a few shots with your pistol. If they continue to stick it, shoot with your gun. They're probably going to get off of it. If they don't get off of it, then you can just kill them and just continue to play this game. And if you have another teammate, tell them to stay above and they can just kind of hold it as normal, and you're basically securing the round for yourself. So as Buck, one of your main objectives is to open up vertical play above the site. But some of the drawbacks for that is you can easily get C4'd, impact, flanked, shot from your own vertical holes. There's a lot of drawbacks to it, and one of the main ways you can negate some of those drawbacks is to actually go 2 floors above whatever you're trying to make vertical play onto. So in this example on Clubhouse, if I wanted to make vertical play onto Armory, all I'd have to do is go into Logi and then make vertical play onto the kitchen floor, and now as you can see, I can see just as good as if I was right above it. Also, make sure you're ADSing when you're doing this. It might take a little bit longer than usual, but as you can see, I can see pretty well into sight from doing this. And so if you were playing back Arsenal back here, as you can see, I can see perfectly into that spot, and it's a very common spot a lot of defenders will end up playing. And since I'm this high up above them, it's really hard for me to die up here. They're not going to be able to see for me, impact me. It's going to be harder to flank me, and it's going to be harder to shoot me through my vertical holes, because if I go into my drone right here, as you can see, you can just barely see my head sticking through, and I'm going to win that gunfight 99% of the time. And this is definitely the best and most safest way to open up vertical play on the Arsenal, but there's many more examples you'll see in pro games and just different places that you can pick up on. So make sure you get creative with this and definitely use this a lot more. So the next operator is Blackbeard. Now Blackbeard is an operator that there isn't really any tricks at all for him. So what I'm going to be talking about is just a general tip for Blackbeard, and it's just going to be play aggressive with his shield on. A lot of people will sit upside down rappel the whole game and just expect to, get kills or whatever. That's not really how you should be using Blackbeard nowadays. So what you can do is you can take areas like Bunker on Oregon and use his shield to hold angles like pixel angles like this with the barrels and all this stuff put into account, and you're really hard to get off of this angle. You can use your shield to your advantage against these angles like this, and it's going to be really hard for you to die. And you can also play aggressive and swing people, use your nades to flush people out, swing people, and use your shield, because think about it, you can take an extra headshot or 2, which is going to help you a lot when you're swinging someone and taking a one-on-one gunfight. So don't just sit on the upside down rappel all game, and try to actually get active with Blackbeard. So as Capitao, a trick a lot of people don't realize is you can actually shoot your fire or smoke on the roof, and it's going to drop down to wherever you shot it. So what you can do, instead of exposing too much of your body trying to get it into a certain spot, instead just shoot it on the roof and then let it drop down to whoever you're trying to get a kill on, or just trying to flush them out. So if someone was standing right here, instead of quick peeking out or peeking out and trying to shoot it right there, what you can actually do is just shoot it right here on this little thing. And as you see, it's going to drop down the fire and it's going to cover this whole area. So if someone was right there, they would have to run across or just take fire damage or whatever, and you didn't have to expose any of your body, you can just shoot it right there. And there's a lot of examples you can use this for, so make sure you're taking this into account next time you play Capitao. So as Hibana, you're going to encounter a lot of cated hatches, and most of the time you would need a Thatcher or a pocket EMP to get rid of it, but if it's on a soft wall like this example on kitchen, which is a very important hatch to get open, what you can actually do is start shooting 2 pellets around the hatch, and it's eventually going to destroy the cade claw. So right now the cade is just in the middle, so whenever it's in the middle, that's actually the worst spot for the cade to put it. All you have to do is place your Hibana pellets to either side of it, and once you activate it, it's going to blow it up and destroy it no matter what. As you can see, once it blows up, it destroys the cade claw in the middle. But if the cade places the cade claw on this side, as Hibana, you would have to place your pellets on this side. If he places it on that side, as you can see, you can sneak them in like that and explode it like that. If they place it on this side, it's best to just use a breach charge. Place it like right here and it's gonna blow it up, but it's kind of risky to do that. So whenever you're playing Hibana, make sure that you destroy the cade by just placing it on either side until you destroy the cade claw, and by the time you're done, you can just use 4 to break the hatch open. So as Jackal, the trick I'm gonna be showing you is how to get footsteps from playing vertical. So if I know a defender is gonna be walking in a certain area like bottom main, all I have to do is go above bottom main and just shoot open the floor above, and then as you can see, once I go onto my goggles, I'm going to be able to see the footprints through the floor. Once I scan them, it's going to be like I scan them like normal. So always remember, if you know where somebody was, or you don't know if anybody was there, you can just make holes in the floor and check through the floor to see if somebody was there. So as Ying, a lot of people don't realize you can put your candelas through floors. So you can put your Yings on reinforced walls or hatches, or you can put them on soft floors or soft walls. So there's a lot of different plays you can make with that, and I'm not going to go through all the plays you can make, but just as an example, if you just look right here and place your Ying right here, all you have to do is place it here and then immediately start sprinting down main, and then boom, if someone was standing in this area, you could probably get a free kill on them and they would never see it coming. So as Zofia, you have 2 concussion grenades. And a trick a lot of people don't realize with these concussion grenades, if I shoot this into a room and it immediately activates, that means someone is in that area. So as you can see, if I were to shoot it right here, even though that soloq is over there, if I shoot it over here, it just immediately activates and even stuns me. But if I were to go over here and shoot my stun in here, as you can see, it takes a second to activate. So you can use this to your advantage by, if you see it doesn't activate, make sure you take that area because you know they're not in that immediate area. So super simple tip for Dokkaebi. When you're making a call, if you just let go like maybe half a second early, it's still going to activate the call. So when you're calling, just make sure you let go. Basically, right as she presses her finger down, you can let go. You're not going to really notice it, but it's going to save you a half a second, and you're going to be able to put your gun up a little bit quicker. So as Lion, there's not a lot of tricks that you can do, but the trick I decided to go with is pairing your ability with other attackers' ability. Now, there's a lot of different ones that you can do, but the main one that I'll say is probably Deimos is the best. And with Deimos being so new, already a lot of people don't know how to deal with his ability, so most of the time they end up just running from Deimos basically. So if Deimos is scanning me as a defender, most of the time they just continue to back up from them because they know exactly where he is. Well, not exactly, but they know generally where he is, so they can just keep backing up and backing up. That's what they most likely would do. But if you compare this with a Lion scan, as soon as your Deimos starts getting a track on them, they have to stand still or they're going to be exposed to your Lion scan as well. So they're going to be double tracked. So that's a really good pairing. So as Lion, make sure you're pairing your ability with other attackers' abilities. There's a lot more, but that's probably the best one that I could think of. All right, so for Finka, the trick I'm going to be showing you is you can actually unstun or unflash your teammates with your Finka boost. So you can do the same thing for yourself. If you manage to stun yourself, then you can actually unstun yourself with your Finka boost. I'll show you that right now. As you can see right there, I haven't tested everything that this works with, but I have tested Yings and they do work like that. So I'm assuming, most things it's going to work like that. And another thing to keep in mind is you can't boost before you actually get flashed or stunned. You have to do it after you've been flashed or stunned. So if I throw it down right here and then I boost and then I get stunned, it's, as you can see, it doesn't stop it. So keep that in mind. So the trick I decided to go with for Maverick is just actually called Maverick tricking. Now this has been very known and a pretty used strategy for a long time now, but it's kind of been, more overlooked recently. So that's what I'm gonna be showing you. So if you encounter a reinforced wall, what you can do with Maverick is Mav trick the wall. So what you want to do, take your torch and line it up with this top part right here, and make sure you're doing the top part first. You just want to line it up like this, and I like to just hit it right there once and then just go into a line like this. And then eventually you're going to hit this line right here. You want to hit right there just for a second, and it's going to make that noise, and then you know you've gotten the top part done. It's kind of janky how I did it, but then the next part you want to do is lay down and get right in the corner again, and then just go across like this. Once again, you're going to hit that line. Now, once again, I did it janky, and you got to make sure you get all the spots correctly. Okay, but once you get it done, now the wall is going to be soft, and you can use a soft breacher to open the wall as if you were running Thermite. It's a little bit extra work, but it does get the job done. It was much more common before pocket EMPs, and I'd recommend, practicing this so you're not as bad as me. So as Nomad, one of the main problems with our air jabs is the noise that it makes. When I place this down, if I was a defender, I'm going to hear this noise and inch my way up and shoot it, and then I can continue to flank. Pretty interesting trick that you can do is go up to any wall, just punch a hole in the wall, and I like to do one just right above it, just like that, and then shoot your air jab into the hole. Now, as you're about to see, when they walk into it, it's going to hit them like a normal air jab. And one of the main advantages of this is you can't hear it at all. So if I go over to red and I make another hole, place it in there, if I walk to the other side, as you can see, I cannot hear anything. So if I was flanking, I'm going to be looking over there. I'm going to be looking at red, whatever. I'm not going to really be looking there. And then out of nowhere, I'm going to be hit by a silent air jab. So in my opinion, you should be using at least one of these around. So out of 3 air jabs, at least try to place down one of these. It's a pretty sneaky spot, and you can probably get a lot of free kills off of it just because people aren't going to realize it and they're going to hit by your air jab. And yeah, they're going to be on the floor. It's a free kill. Alright, so for the trick I'm going to be showing you for Gridlock is to disguise your track stingers with smoke grenades. There's 3 main benefits you can get from this. If I throw down my smoke and then I immediately throw my track stingers into the smoke like that. So when I throw down a track stinger like this, if I shoot this one right there, none of the rest of them get deployed. So when you throw down a smoke, it disguises the first one, so they can't just destroy them all, so they basically have to get deployed. Another thing is it slightly masks the sound of the track stingers going off. And lastly, if someone rotates back to sight and all they see is a smoke grenade and they never heard it go off, they never heard the track stingers or anything, and they try to rotate through cool vibes, ignore this one. Once they jump through, they're going to be hit by like 2 or 3 or 4 whatever of the track stingers. So make sure you're using your smokes to your advantage with Gridlock. So Nokk doesn't really have a lot of tricks for ability, but if you are playing against Alibi and you end up shooting an Alibi clone, as you can see, I'm going to be pinged 4 times. But what a lot of people don't know is if you shoot the Alibi clone and then immediately put on your ability, you don't even get pinged once. This is just a simple counter a lot of people don't know about, and it's just something super easy you can add to your game immediately. For Callie, most people don't realize that she is a hard counter to Clash. So if I shoot Clash's shield once, as you can see, the shield goes off of her body. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can actually shoot it and then shoot it again, and you're going to get a kill on her. So that's the trick for Callie. Alright, so the next operator is Iana. Now the trick I'm going to be showing you for Iana is how to clone cancel. And what clone canceling means is you just basically bait the enemy into thinking you're a clone when you're actually just, normal Iana. So the way that you do this is you go into your ability just like this, and right before it's about to activate, you press the ability button again so it deactivates. So the timing for this is you activate it, and as soon as your screen goes yellow like that, that's when you press R1, and that's the best time to do it. You can do it slightly later than that, but generally that's a pretty good spot to do it, and you can make some pretty good plays like this. Like, let's say someone's sitting in this doorway. If I clone cancel like this, just go into my clone like this, and then boom, I come around the corner and I'm actually just a person, then boom, I can just get a kill on them and they thought I was a clone. So as ace, a lot of the times when you encounter a cated hatch, most people don't realize if you just throw one ace to this side and then you throw your next ace on this side, as you can see, no matter what, the hatch is going to open. Now, yes, you do have to use 2 aces on it, but you're guaranteed to get the hatch open. So if you have ace and you don't have any other hard breach to open up the hatch, then there you go. All right, so for the trick for Zero, a lot of people don't realize his Zero cams can go through floors, and you can use this to your advantage by getting off wall denial. So as you can see, I can destroy the bandits right here, and then what you can do is use your hard breach charge to actually open up the wall. Now this is a horrible example. I would never recommend doing this on CCTV wall, but you do get the example. You can do this on a lot of different walls. All right, so as you can see from the shield in front of my face, the next operator is Osa. And the trick I'm going to be talking about for Osa is when you place down your shield, a lot of the times when you go for a plant, it's just going to start picking up your shield. Some people will resort to turning their back, but that's not a good idea because then you can't see if someone's trying to push on you. But so what you can do is just sit up against your shield and then just look straight up and you'll start planting. So there's no need to turn your back or try to like back up or anything like that. Just straight up look up and then you'll start planting and you'll basically be looking forward. And yeah. All right, so the next operator we have is Sens. Now, Sens doesn't have the best gadget in the game, but one trick that I'll tell you is you can use your ability to bounce off of drone holes and doorways. In this situation, let's say I wanted to cover this whole side like this. Let's just pretend the wall was actually open. If the wall's open, I'd have to like bounce it off of that wall, or I'd have to like come over here, do this. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can just throw it right there. And as you can see, it's gonna block off the whole wall, and then you could get in and plant, do whatever you need to do. So if I want to go through a doorway, all I got to do right here, bounce it off like that. It's going to go under, then you can break it down and go in. All right, for Grim, he's actually very similar to IQ because he has the same primary weapon, and also the trick that I'm going to be showing you is basically the same. So if I were to plant the bomb right there, all you have to do once you plant the bomb right there is pull out your bailiff and do the same thing as you would with a breach charge. It's a little bit harder, but now once you've done it, it should take only one mag to get a hole about that size. So now you can see the bomb is right here. So now what you can do is shoot your Grims into the site like this, onto the diffuser. So if anybody goes for a diffuse, they're going to be constantly pinged, so you can just floor bang them, or you can just not peek and just wait for them to go for a diffuse like normal. But when you have that extra Grim, it's going to be extra pressure, and it's basically going to last the whole time that the bomb is being diffused. All right, so for the tip for Brava, this is a very unknown one, and what you can do is if you get your drone mozzied like that, as you can see, my drone is now mozzied. A lot of people don't know that you can actually hack your drone back. So if I go up to the mozzie drone like that, hack it. So now once you've hacked it, you can pick up your drone and use it again as normal. The only thing that's different, it has this weird like blue glow to it. I don't know why that's the case, but a lot of people don't know that. So yeah. So as Ram, one of your main objectives is to play vertical. So a cool trick that you can do to help yourself is actually just go up to a soft wall like VIP right here, shotgun out a hole in the top like this, and then you just want to throw your Ram into the hole like this. And so now when I activate it, it's going to break the whole wall open, and it's going to continue to open up vertical. Now this really isn't for this specific strat, but as you can see, I can see into kitchen door and all that, and I have this whole wall open. Instead of having to, if I were to normally do it like this, as you can see, I have to crouch through this hole. And if you're trying to run from a C4, you don't want to have to like go crouch through a hole like that. You want to be able to just full sprint. Or if you're trying to run from like someone flanking you, whatever the situation is, you don't want to have to crouch through a hole. If you shotgun out that top part and throw your Ram on top, you can open up the whole wall and rotate in and out. All right, so as Deimos, the trick I'm going to be showing you is a lot of times when people activate his scan and they see where the enemy is, when they see that someone's there, they'll continue to push him. All you have to do is just deactivate the scan, and now you know exactly where they are, and you know that they're going to be in the bathroom. So if you cancel your scan, you can get the information of the scan without them being able to see you back. If you feel you improved from this video or you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to watch more of my content, then click the video popping up on your screen.